everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be doing a little bit of a different video. So I'm going to be doing kind of a DIY book sleeve tutorial. So I saw this on Pinterest a while ago and I was like, oh, I could actually really do that because I've been really into sewing these days, and so I thought this would be kind of a fun little thing to do. And I'm a little crafty too, so you guys have asked for a couple more of like crafty book related stuff. So I've currently made 3 so far. This first one, this is the one that I first made. It's like the Deathly Hallows themes, and Tucker, my dog, has a matching bandana of this thing. But it ended up being a little bit too small, but it fits my iPad perfectly. So that ended up working out. So if you do make it a little bit too small, it's okay, because then you can kind of repurpose it for something else. But I've also made this Beauty and the Beast mosaic one, which is the one I'll be making in the tutorial, and then there is this one as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty everyone, so just kind of a list of some of the things that you will need to do this. So you'll need 2 different types of fabric. So I have one that's going to be on the outside, which is kind of this Beauty and the Beast mosaic one. I've also done one with this kind of arrow one as well for my sister. And then this is going to be the one for the inside, and it's actually like newspaper print. So I thought that was really cute and appropriate for what we'll be doing. In addition, besides like a sewing machine, or you could do this by hand if you really want to, you're going to need some iron, pins, or like clips that you can just kind of clip and hold everything together. I find these a little easier and than the pins. The pins I stab myself and it's like Chainsaw Massacre. And then this is what you need in order to stabilize or provide kind of that foam protection and give the book cover kind of that stability. And this is the In Our Form Plus Unique Fusible Foam Stabilizer, and so I found this at Joann's, and they have like different versions of this. This was the cheapest one, so I went with this one, but you'll need that as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so once we have everything, your first step you want to do is to cut the fabric and the stabilizer. So the shape or like the dimensions that we'll be cutting it to will be 9 by 12. So you want to cut that twice. So you have 2 9 by 12 sheets of fabric and stabilizer that are 9 by 12. So I have them right here, and then this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my iron and just kind of get all the wrinkles out. I did pre-cut these a while ago, they're a little bit wrinkled as you can see, but I'm just going to go ahead and kind of iron this out. So now that we have ironed out our fabric, we're going to first want to take the stabilizer and place that on like wherever you're ironing, and then you're going to take the outside fabric, the fabric that's going to be on the outside of your book sleeve, and so you're going to place that with the pattern up on top of that stabilizer, and then you are going to take the iron and just kind of go over it, and then this is heat activated, so then it will stick to the fabric there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that until it is all secure, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the second cut of fabric as well. So now that I have this all kind of heated into the stabilizer, I'm going to take my outside piece and place that down, and then I'm going to take the piece that is going on the inside, the fabric, and turn it so that the pattern side is down like this. So next I'm going to take my clips, or you can use pins, and I'm just going to secure this all along the top here. So I already have done the exact same thing for the second part of the sleeve on the other side, and so what I'm going to do next is take my sewing machine and just sew along this side here. So now that I've finished sewing the 2 pieces of fabric together for both sides, I'm going to open it up so that the patterns are facing outwards, and then I'm going to take my other one that I sewed right here, and I'm going to face it so that pattern sign is down. So this is a crucial part in just making sure everything is aligned. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the two patterns from where they end and where they start, basically, so you can see here that they are lined up for the most part. And that is crucial in just making sure everything stays aligned. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my little clip here and just secure that down just to make sure that it stays put. And then I'm going to go ahead and do kind of pin around here. So basically this sewing pattern, what I'm going to do is for the inside flap, like the inside pattern, I'm going to leave this part open. So that is a place, so that way I have somewhere I can pull everything through once I'm done sewing. So I'm going to sew along here, along the edge here, and then back up to this corner here. So you want to, like I said, leave this open so you have something to pull through. So now I have everything clipped up, and you can see that I left this side here open. So I'm just going to follow the path of the clips, and usually when I sew I do about 1/4 of an inch kind of from the side, but for this one, because we want to make sure we have enough room to hold a book, I'm going to do about 1/8 inch, and just so I have a little bit more wiggle room just in case, but it will definitely hold a paperback if you do go a little bit over. I did one where it was a little bit too small, and it ended up fitting my iPad perfectly. So if you do it a little too small, it's okay. You can find other uses for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sewing. So now that I've finished sewing this together, I'm just going to go through the opening and pull everything through. So what I like to do with the corners, you can kind of trim them off to reduce the bulk, but I kind of went close to the line here, so I think I should be good. But when I'm kind of popping it out, I just kind of like will push it, and then you're just going to kind of pull it through that way. Okay, so now that we have our fabric kind of pulled out here, as you can see, I'm going to take the edges of the inside, because we left it open, to sew it back together. So you're going to kind of create like a little fold like this. So I'm going to go over this with my iron just to kind of hold it in place. And then I'm going to go ahead and pin it and then sew along the seam to create that. So now that I've ironed just the edge, I'm going to take some pins just to kind of hold it in place while I sew it together. And so this is another one as well where you want to keep it as close to the seam as possible, but you don't have to be like perfect or anything like that. So I'm just gonna sew right along here. Okay, so I've finished sewing along this top seam here, and then we can just kind of push it back in here in its place, kind of back in to where this is. And so I'm just gonna lightly go over this with my iron just to kind of semi hold it in place. We don't want to secure it in here like we did with the outer piece, just to kind of hold it in place while we move on to our next part. So you see how this part here, there's some overlap between the top, like the front cover, and then what's inside. So what we're gonna do is kind of like push that down, and then we're gonna clip it into place. So I've just finished clipping them. I find for this part, the more clips, the better it is at kind of like holding everything together. And so I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, just stitch along the top there, kind of like, what is that, 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. Just, you can like eyeball it too. So I have my, oops, kind of moving you around here, but I have my sewing machine here, and I took out this kind of main compartment here that goes along here. I find that when I take it out and I just have like this part here, it's a little bit easier to sew, but that's personal preference. So you can kind of tailor this to your own kind of sewing preference. And then it's best also to kind of start near a corner as well. I find that works best as well. But like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch this along. So you can see along here, I just have the stitching going all the way around. So I'm just, to finish everything out, I'm just gonna kind of push that inner section in a little bit more. And then just a little bit more. And then I'm gonna take my iron and just kind of go over this one last time to kind of help that inner material mesh with the stabilizer. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up and let me know if you want to see more craft videos in the future, if you have any suggestions for things that I could do in the future. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.